They told me over dinner. The smell of roasted chicken still lingered when my mother set down her fork and said it. We need to sell the country house. Your sister's pregnant now. She needs her own place. Her tone was sharp, final, rehearsed. My father nodded, already complicit. My sister kept her eyes down, guilty but greedy. That house wasn't just brick and beams. It was my summers, my memories, my escape. The last thing left with my grandparents. And they wanted to strip it away, gift wrap it for her. I didn't argue. I nodded, the obedient child they trained me to be. But inside, I was already sharpening my blade. Because the house wasn't theirs to give. It was mine. My grandparents left it to me. Not them, not her. They knew I valued it. I was the one mowing the lawn, fixing the creaky floors, painting the shutters. That house was my inheritance, my sanctuary. But ever since my sister announced her pregnancy, my parents revolved around her like planets around the sun. She carried royalty. I was invisible, a placeholder. I still trusted them. Foolishly, until the night I overheard everything. I'd gone back to grab a document. The kitchen light was on. My mother's voice cut through the air. We'll pressure her. She won't resist for long. She never fights. We'll convince her to sign. Silence. Then my father. And if she doesn't, we'll take it anyway. It's for her sister's future. She'll understand. Understand? No, I understood too well. They'd already decided I was expendable. That night, I didn't cry. I didn't plead. I opened my laptop and studied. Property laws. Quiet listings. Transfer loopholes. I became a student of vengeance. See, revenge isn't fire. Fire burns too fast. Revenge is ice. Cold, invisible, until it cracks the surface. Their weakness was simple. They assumed I was passive. So I leaned into it. I nodded when they brought up again. Pretended to consider. Let them believe they'd won. Meanwhile, in the shadows, I moved. Within a week, the house was quietly listed off-market through a contact who owed me a favor. A young couple bought it. Cash. No questions. By the time my parents shoved papers at me, it was too late. I already sold it. I told them. Calm. Flat. My mother's fork slipped. My father's jaw locked. My sister's mouth fell open. You sold it? My mother whispered. Yes. I sipped my water. It was mine. Now it's gone. They stared at me like I committed a crime. Maybe I had, but it was a necessary one. 2 weeks later, the call came at midnight. My mother, frantic. Your father's been arrested. He broke into the house. I almost laughed. Of course he had. He didn't believe I truly sold it. Thought it still belonged to us. But the buyers had installed cameras. To the police, he wasn't a father. He wasn't a rightful owner. He was just a trespasser. At the station, he sat pale and broken. When I walked in, he looked at me like I'd set a trap. Maybe I had. But the truth? I never lifted a finger. He walked into his own downfall. On the drive home, silence pressed between us until he finally asked, voice trembling, "How could you do this?" I kept my eyes on the road. I protected what was mine. You tried to steal it. And you didn't just fail, you humiliated yourself. He clenched his fists, wanted to argue, but he couldn't, because I was right. My mother sat stiff, her pride shattered. My sister never spoke to me again. Do I regret it? Not for a second. They expected me to sacrifice for family. They forgot sacrifice is a choice, not an obligation. The house is gone, but my revenge remains. Every time my father drives past that road, he sees strangers living in what he once thought he controlled. Every time my mother thinks of her perfect daughter's future, she remembers the night the police cuffed her husband. And me? I sleep peacefully. Because justice in its coldest form isn't loud. It's quiet. It's final. I didn't just save my inheritance. I saved myself.